Yeah, the title's appropriate. Let's discuss. What's up, Flick fans? I saw the trailer for Cuckoo, and I was really excited, had no clue what it was about, and I still am a little confused, but we're going to flesh out our thoughts.
Very pleasant, thank you.
Gretchen, come say hi.
What's up?
So 17-year-old Gretchen leaves her American home to live with her father, who has just moved into a resort in the German Alps with his new family, and things are not as they seem. It gets a little weird thanks to Dan Stevens and company. And something seems off in the beginning. We'll discuss why, and the movie elevates and ramps up as it goes, gets crazier and crazier, and by the end, it's Cuckoo.
You're lame!
And Gretchen, Hunter Schafer's character, well, she's plagued by these weird noises and bloody images. She's trying to figure out what's going on. Why are they taking interest in her sister? What's going on with her mother? And she's pretty much the emotional core of the movie, and the only semblance of anything that is grounded and rooted in reality, because everything else that is happening is absolutely insane. Now, there are two ways to go about this movie. One, you look at how crazy the actual plot is, and a lot of it is filled with spoilers, so I can't really discuss what it is, even though I'm still trying to figure out what it is.
What the is this?
Now, what I love about this movie, and something that's a lot less confusing, is the actual emotional core of what the film is, and that is Gretchen's character, obviously, but the strained relationship that she has with her now father, who's got his new girlfriend. They're going off, leaving everything behind. They're in Germany, so very far removed from home. But what she's dealing with here, the emotional abuse that she's taking, that connection with her sister, and how that plays into the fact that she is so confused as to why they are choosing to trust these people. I mean, the first time you see Dan Stevens, you kind of get that his character is very wormy, slimy, a little unhinged. There's something about him that is off. And so while you don't know his role in this situation, you know that he's not someone that really should be trusted. Now, the plan that he has in place, what he's trying to do, and how this inevitably weaves together with the story at hand is a little all over the place. And that's what I think is going to take a lot of people for a ride that maybe they don't want to be on, even though it gives you some thrills and chills and scares along the way. One scare, actually two in particular, towards the first half of the movie that were really good. Scares that I actually really liked. I think a lot of people are going to get those types of moments and feelings out of this movie rather than something like maybe what they expected from Longlegs. Now, granted, Longlegs is really good for what it is, but I felt like this one was scarier than what Longlegs was, and this isn't being heralded as the scariest movie of the decade. But there's some good scares here. You've also, as always, with a movie like this, or most of the time within the horror genre, there's a detective of sorts that's trying to figure the same thing out as our main character. But this detective, there's also something about him that's a little unhinged, and you can't really figure out what it is until the end. And when all of those elements meet in the third act, when everything actually starts to go down, the movie gets bloodier, way more intense, really insane. What Gretchen has to go through, frankly, you just feel terrible for her. She's very distant, kind of tucked away in her own world at the beginning of the movie, and you're trying to figure out why. Then you start to put the pieces together and see how her family there is actually treating her, and really just trying to reach out to her mother in the meantime. And as those secrets come to light, as what's going on with her sister comes to light, and the fact that she's dealing with some really crazy things, visions, and is this person screaming real? What's the person screaming doing?
Holy God, what are you showing me? His head. Come on!
Also within that, I look at the technical elements of this movie. The sound design is great. Some of the better sound design I've seen or heard this year, because you don't see it. But also just the look, the feel, the vibe, the aesthetic. It's somewhat of a period piece, so it captures that in an interesting way. I liked the cinematography. Didn't blow me away, but I just thought it looked really cinematic. But you combine that with the sound design and how bloody it does get towards the end, and how that has its own visual flair and appeal. And, you know, you're kind of contained in the third act of this movie. A lot of it takes place in this one building, but they do a great job of making you feel what our main character is feeling Gretchen in this situation, because what she's going through, again, it's a little crazy, a little artsy, some will say. A lot of the times you have these A24 neon horror movies, and sometimes they appeal to more general audiences, but most of the time there's an artistic touch to it, or a story that's just so outlandish. The goal of the villainous side of things is a little all over the place, and I kind of see how they're tying it in with the title and all of that, but I still scratch my head. I was asking questions. This is actually a movie that requires an ending explain video. You get ending explain videos all the time. I mean, heck, I've done them for movies that don't need them. You don't need them. But for this, I could use one. Yes, I have questions, which prevents it from being even better, but overall, I enjoyed this experience. So before I give you my score, let me know your thoughts on Cuckoo down below, and if you like this video, you want to drop a like, it'd be cool. Cuckoo is a wild and unique ride that leans heavily into the madness of its story and characters. Hunter Schafer's Gretchen is the emotional core that allows us to maintain some semblance of reality, and Dan Stevens is having a blast. The handful of ideas it attempts to explore don't quite come together in the end, but it kept my interest and delivered a couple of nice scares early on. So a horror, a thriller, a little bit of everything in there, maybe too much for a lot of people, and for that, I completely understand, because this movie is Cuckoo. I said I wouldn't do it. I did it again. This week is Alien Romulus. I'm excited. Stay tuned for that.